Good morning, my creative friends, and welcome to Painting in Your PJs with Minette. I am Dr. Minette Riordan. I am not in my PJs this morning because I wanted to share with you one of our new t-shirts from our new merchandise store that you can find the link to on our website at MinetteRiordan.com. And this one says, Queen, my own damn story. Super proud of this one. And this one's actually going to inspire the theme and creative for where I go next year with my YouTube story. So more to come about that. But it is Black Friday. We are having a huge sale on our website of products, courses, digital downloads, as well as brand new merchandise, which is freaking exciting. And I'm so incredibly grateful to my husband for all the tech wizardry and just energy he has put into making this all possible. We've been hard at work on all kinds of goodies, so I would love it if you would go check it out at my website at MinetteRiordan.com. There's a link in the comments below as well. And today is going to be, sorry, having some allergies today. Today is going to be the final, hang on just a second. Today is going to be the final video in our Gratitude Goddess work from the last month or so. Next week is Thanksgiving here in the United States. So I will be taking next week off to play, cook, one of my favorite things. It's all good, Anna. Just happy to see you here today. Welcome. And so this will be the last one in the Paper Doll Goddess series or Gratitude series so that I can enjoy my family next week. And from my family to yours, wishing those of you who celebrate a very happy Thanksgiving holiday next week as well. And today, so our theme for the final week of the Gratitude Goddesses is all about connecting to mystery and having gratitude for mystery. She is, Anna, she sent me a nice email this week letting me know that she was traveling. But hi, Lorraine. And I know you'll watch the replay, and wishing you just a happy travels and journey, and envious that you're hanging out in Spain this week, one of my favorite places. I wanted to do something different this week in this connecting to the mystery, connecting to spirit, connecting to that deeper aspect of ourselves. And I don't know that we always pause to express gratitude for this aspect of our lives that is the mystery, or another word for that is wonder. And connecting to wonder and awe invites us to pause, be a little bit more mindful, to really check in, not just with ourselves, but with the world around us, to stand outside and look up at the night sky, or to notice how the seasons are impacting your landscape right outside your front door. So I thought it would be fun to integrate something that I really love, which is tarot and oracle cards. I'm going to be playing with an oracle card deck today, but I encourage you to grab any deck that you have. And if you don't have a deck, don't worry, you can be inspired by whatever it is that I draw today and take that as inspiration for all of us. It's also a new moon today, and this is a new moon in Scorpio. So there's a lot of intensity, of emotion, of opportunity, not just to plant new seeds for what's coming, but also to release anything that you don't want to hold on to, so that we step in. Good morning, Anne. So that we step into winter's deep rest and reflection with a more thoughtful energy and being connected to spirit. So I have no idea what I'm going to create my doll with today. I'm going to change my camera, or, what she's going to end up looking like. I took one of our templates and I just made her a little bit bigger because I wanted to have a little space to play with. And I grabbed one of my favorite tarot decks. This is the Gaian Tarot by Joanna Powell Colbert, or Colbert, I'm not sure how you say it. This is the brand new edition of this, the second edition of this gorgeous, very feminine tarot deck about healing the earth and healing ourselves. And it felt very appropriate to pull from this deck today. And my question as I approach the deck, and I'm still pretty new to tarot, so I'm going to have to look up what things mean for the most part. So the question today is, what helps keep me connected or grateful for the mystery of life? What helps me be connected and grateful for the mystery of my life, right? Because life does have a lot of mystery in it. And this is, I'll show you some of these cards. And I loved one of my friend Tamra. Let me refocus here. Hang on just a second. Knows the author and creator of this deck, and all of the paintings in this deck are of people that Joanna Powell Colbert knows, right? She invited friends to pose for all of these different portraits. And I absolutely love the art on these. She lives in the Pacific Northwest, so you really see the influence of her landscape there. So just absolutely beautiful cards, and they just really, to me, represent that connection to mystery. So I am going to simply ask my question, and before I do that, I love working with tarot in my art and connecting tarot to play like this for a few different reasons. We can sometimes feel really stuck and not know what to create or what direction to start. We might feel like with a topic like, gratitude for mystery, you're like, what the heck, Minette? I don't even know what that means. And there's some great journal prompts for you in the original video, handout, and blog post. And all we can use tarot for two or three different ways in our art. One, we can be inspired by the colors of the card. We can be inspired by the symbols on the card, and we can be inspired by the message and meaning of the card. So it's a great way to create a set of dolls. And with any kind of 30-day project like this Gratitude Goddess paper doll chain, it's easy to get bored. Now, some of you may have created, at the beginning of the month, we created a whole bunch of dolls. Some people have created all 30 of their dolls and are doing daily journaling, which was what I recommended. I did that for the first couple of weeks, and then I'm like, okay, I want a little something different and special for this week. So I'm actually going to draw 3 cards. All right, that one wants to come out. For different ways that I'm connected and grateful for the great mystery that is our life and our world. And I drew 3 rather than 1 because there might be one that inspires you in particular. And so let's see what we ended up with. Look at that beautiful, beautiful painting. So this one was first. Oh, she's beautiful. So we got the Guardian of Water. We're going to have to look up what all these mean because I am not 100% certain, but we're going to learn together here today. Let me see. Those are just going to be a little bit blurry. So we have the Guardian of Water. We have the 2 of Earth with a parent holding 2 babies. So we have water element, earth element, and interesting as we're going into Thanksgiving, right? I'm thinking about food and feast, and there's all those, they're standing in front of a bunch of vegetables there. And then we have some fire magic here, the 6 of fire with women drumming and dancing around a fire. Beautiful, beautiful cards. And again, so this silly focus drives me crazy. One of these days Brad will get down here with his magic and figure all of that out. So let's see what the Guardian of Water has to teach us today. And another fun way, if you have a deck of tarot cards, to work with paper dolls related to tarot, Oh my gosh, I just gave myself an idea for a really fun class or just a personal project would be to work with the major arcana of the tarot. There's 22 cards and make a doll for each of those cards, which would be a really fun project. All right. She has an interesting orientation in her deck, so I always have to remember how to find them. So the Guardian of Water is calling us to open our hearts to compassion, intuition, and deep love. She overflows with forgiveness, peace, and cleansing for a troubled world, pouring out the waters of mercy. She is kind, gracious, and caring, and has great empathy for those in need. Her love and compassion seem boundless, and she welcomes all who long for emotional comfort and mothering. So I really love, I'm not going to read all of this, but just love her. So this is so appropriate for our month of gratitude here. And we can express gratitude better when we're in that energy of compassion, intuition, and deep love. And I would say love for self as well as love and empathy for others. So beautiful, beautiful card. Gratitude for the mystery of love and compassion today. Let's see, Two of Earth. This is a young father balancing his baby sons as he shops for a meal. One baby is placid and the other is howling. And the symbol on his shirt is a West African symbol, an adinkra, a crocodile, signifying the adaptability of living in water while breathing the air. And this card is about balance, balancing more than one thing at a time and adapting to a potentially chaotic situation. So that one isn't particularly resonating with me, but maybe for those of you that are listening today, that card is for you and you want to really focus on trying to do one thing at a time instead of juggling or multitasking. So this is a card about maybe there are too many demands or attention. Maybe you're not asking for support. And when we express gratitude for the mystery in the context of this card about balance, for me, this is also as we go into the busy holiday season to come, this is also about asking for support, not trying to do it all yourself or do it all at once. And then finally, this beautiful Six of Fire card. I really love the image of this woman dancing around the fire. So let's find this one. And this is, it's festival time. The energy builds, creative and erotic power, fanning the flames of the sacred fire. So that's kind of what we're seeing. And this card is all about raising energy with others for magic, healing, and transformation. And for me, this one is about being part of the sacred circle, not apart from it. Again, it is the collective celebration that makes things really meaningful. And magic, I always say magic happens where women gather. And so this energetic gathering of creativity, healing, and magic is really, really a beautiful card for this time of year to remind us, when we think about gratitude for the mystery, we have deep connection with others that can feel like a mystery at times. And maybe sometimes what we're missing is that collective dance around the fire as opposed to a more solitary sitting around the fire. So I love all of these. They're so beautiful. And I can see myself creating goddess, or in this case, perhaps a god card to represent the energies of the mystery of, again, compassion, balance, and creative power in community. So, three very different energies today, but I feel super called to this gorgeous guardian of water here. And there's fish and turtle, and she's holding a seashell. So I want to use the color inspiration here. I'm feeling drawn to the turtle magic here today and think about how can I create this goddess gratitude paper doll today that represents compassion, empathy, love, and healing for all, especially the planet and the environment. So she's my inspiration there, and I need to decide if I want to paint, if I want to collage. So I bought for a retreat these beautiful books by Tashen. This one, the theme was witchcraft, and I have one, maybe it's going to be this plant magic one. And I bought these with the intention to tear them up for collage imagery. Oh, I love that beautiful earth card there. So I'm going to flip through here and see if there's something that has that kind of watery, magical energy. Well, she's very cool. This has some very funky images in it. It's all about plant medicine and different ways that people use plants and herbs. But what I love about this whole series of books is not seeing a lot of watery ones in here, but this whole series of books is full of art from throughout the ages that represents all these different stories. So I'm looking, so if I let go of attachment to it needs to be watery and think about it more as I'm creating a goddess of compassion today and connecting to that deeper mystery and wonder that is love. What might that feel like? And I'm feeling all of these opening of flowers sort of pulling me in. So there's really fabulous imagery. I kind of like this waterfall here. And yes, I am tearing up this book, right? It was bought with the intention to use it. If there's images that I really love or get attached to, then I will make photocopies of them so that I can use them over and over. This one has that same energy of the fire, dancing around the fire. And I always pull out more images than I need for these, little small dolls. Let's see if there's anything kind of magical, watery in here. This one is a great book if you're doing any shadow work in your collage. It has a lot of more shadow images, and this one was divided according to the elements. So where is our water element? Of course, there's the black cat in there. It definitely feels like air. Maybe water's in the beginning here. Funny, I intuitively grabbed these two books, but not being drawn really to images from either of them. But I probably have enough with just these two images that I drew. So I was drawn to this one because the colors are resonant, and I love the energy of, when we practice self-compassion, then that compassion, we have more compassion for others as well. And let's see, I'm thinking I kind of like this piece as well. Maybe this is going to be kind of the background piece. So let me go ahead and cut her out. So this was one of our original templates for this month, and I just blew it up a little bit on my printer, printed it out on cardstock. And when I think about this idea of the energy of this beautiful guardian of the water. And I can think about gratitude for the mystery of how things ripple out from us. We're often the source, and how we're feeling, or what we model or how we show up for others always ripples out from us for the good or the bad. That would be a fun mask for another project there. I love that. I kind of actually can use that to kind of help me see where I'm going. Oh, that's actually really cool. I love that. Zoom back out a little again. So that was and I wasn't looking at creating her this way, but I kind of love that idea of that sort of mystery popping through, almost it's as if the doll herself becomes a portal. So I'm wondering if there's going to be some different layers to this doll that I hadn't anticipated, or perhaps she's going to be double-sided, but I love the way this looks underneath. And this would be really cool in an art journal, right, Anne? It just like is perfect on there. And this would be a beautiful page in an art journal, to do this cutout inside of an art journal and then to have journal writing around her. Oh, I love her. Talk about gratitude for the mystery of nature. And the more deeply connected we are to mystery, the deeper appreciation we have for nature as well. And I had all my little word cutouts and I left them on my other table over there. It feels like she needs some words on or around her. So this is super cool, and I'm not sure the direction I want to go with it. So I'm going to set that one aside for a moment. And I'm going to come back over here. When I put it in the sort of frame like that, it feels more like it's a reflection, like a mirror image or reflection, which I really appreciate. And I definitely, there's something about this flower here. And this opening of our hearts, right? This opening of our hearts. And to not feel like when you're using tarot or oracle cards as inspiration for your art making, that you have to capture every aspect or element of the card, but to remember the card is simply there as inspiration to get started. It might inspire your journaling, it might simply be a color palette that you play with. So I'm not trying to create a mimic or, a direct representation here. And I think this feels to me like that heart opening and expanding in love and gratitude. And what if that is like overflowing? Oh, there it is, overflowing the edges of herself. Okay, this one's going to turn out being a whole piece that feels really beautiful and is going to live perhaps on my desk for a while where I can really see her. This one won't end up being part of the paper doll chain, but this is such a good example of just always like following the mystery of our creative process. Yes, she does, Anna, look like Mother Earth. follow your own intuition, your own process. Let yourself be guided by the experience rather than the need to be predictive or have it all figured out. I love these, the little red flowers here. And this to me, all of a sudden, it feels like she's overflowing with compassion and love for Earth and the environment. She doesn't even need a face. I had pulled out some of our faces from this month and just really loved this face, but this one feels like this is an energetic sharing. Hi, Lorraine. Anna was telling me you're still in Spain. I hope you're having a wonderful trip. Lovely that you could pop in for just a moment. And if you're just joining me, we are creating paper dolls, or in this case, I think it's going to end up being an art journal or standalone image inspired by a tarot card. And for the last week of November, our theme is gratitude for the mystery. Gratitude for the mystery. And what I love about this is this all this white space is part of that mystery, but it also feels like it could have a beautiful watery wash to kind of pull in this guardian of the water, and maybe the turtle is going to be over here as well. Oh my gosh, I'm loving this. Fun to do something a little bit different. So I am going to, I don't have any tape right here, so I am going to take a piece of scrap paper and I'm just going to, you could do this with tape if you had tape, but it would be an adventure to go find some tape. So I am going to just put this here to hold the parts of this mask together. This is one of those happy accidents. And now I am going to, I happen to have my watercolors, I'm going to grab my watercolors and I'm going to get some color down on this background image, move those out of the way. Move these out of the way so I'm not getting water and paint all over everything. And we'll see how the watercolor does on this. Oh, maybe I can use these beautiful handmade watercolors today. Move that away from my monitor so I'm not totally spraying my monitor with water. And I have these gorgeous handmade watercolors from Cosmic Creations. I found her first on Facebook Marketplace and then on Etsy. She's a Colorado creator. And so I am just going to get some color down on here that was a little more purple maybe than I was thinking. And letting go of perfection. Letting go of perfection. Hey Yvonne, good morning. Good morning, good morning. And if you weren't here at the beginning, this will be our last live for November. I will take next week off for some rest and connection with family. For those of you that celebrate here in the United States, wishing you and your family is a beautiful Thanksgiving holiday. And to take next week to catch up on your gratitude dolls, or to just make a doll, remembering it doesn't have to be 30 dolls. see what else we got in here. So I've got some sparkles in here. When I think about the ocean, when we look at the ocean, sometimes we just glance out or any body of water and we just see, oh, it's blue. But when you get up close and you really look, and Lorraine, I'm sure this is true in Spain and in Malta, right? It's like you really see the layers of so many different colors in the water, and it changes color depending on the depth of the water, the light of the sun. And this is making me happy. The simplicity of this is making me happy. I love when things go in unexpected directions and just trusting the flow of that direction. I'm not trying to get this right, and it's taking me away from what I've done in the previous weeks, and that is okay too. I love watercolor for really simple, mindful play. I could sit here and just, color pages of watercolor day after day. I love this green. That one has just a little bit of sparkle in it. And I'm wondering if somewhere I have an image of a turtle. And again, we're creating inspired by either tarot or oracle cards today. And I don't have my dryer sitting right here, and I don't want this to all get wet. So I'm going to set this aside for a few minutes and see if it can get a little bit drier so I can put things together towards the end of our time. And then I'm going to come back over here to my paper doll, and I want to look at the other card that we drew, the Six of Fire, and that sort of empowering creativity, fiery energy, the movement of the dance, the sensuality of moving our bodies freely to the beat of drums, to gathering in connection with a circle of women is always so empowering. And fire to me always holds a lot of mystery as we're thinking about gratitude for the mystery today. And so I'm going to work on a second doll while the other one dries here, making sure I'm not losing all my little pieces that belong over there. And I love the colors. So this is lots of purples and sort of that burnt umber and some deep blues, definitely the colors of the fire coming out. So we can also, play with the inspiration of the colors and the symbolism in this card to remind us of our own creative magic. And oftentimes it seems to flow from mystery and not from the seen or the known. So let's see if we can find something fire feeling. So this is a fun book about witchcraft that I bought with the intention of cutting up and using for collage. And it has art from throughout the ages. This publisher, Taschen, Taschen, makes the most amazing art books. I love the Black Kitty. And this one had, there's a lot in the history. Oh, that one feels like fire. in the history and the dance, right? There's lots of movement and swirling energy and people. So this one shows a lot of the beliefs about witchcraft and the ups and downs through history. This one, somebody cut it out, but there's a cauldron here, a flaming cauldron. There's a beautiful candle, which would represent that inner fire, right? Like the dancing around the fire is not something that we often have the opportunity to do in our daily lives, but it doesn't mean that we can't imagine that's happening or simply light a candle to help us feel connected to our own creative fire. I love this beautiful image. All right, so with her, I want just the colors, not necessarily the people energy, but just that representation of my own inner creative fire. So I'm just gonna see if I can trace her. So this is our goddess template that we started the doll template we started the month with. I just blew it up on my printer. It felt like I wanted a little bit bigger surface to play with today. And then we're working with the mystery, right? The mystery feels a little bit larger, a little unknown. We can definitely tap into that, but maybe these two larger images are kind of holding space and intention for this whole month of gratitude that we have been working on. And as I'm working on this, I think about, the intensity of fire may feel a little, I'm going to give her some sleeves here, a little intimidating or scary. I think I've shared before that my house burnt down when I was in 7th grade. And fire can be a very scary thing. I've lived both in California and here in Colorado, places where fires have, isn't it beautiful, Yvonne? So beautiful. The whole series is beautiful. And if you watch online, you can sometimes find them used copies like on sale, right? So definitely keep an eye out for those. And we think about fire as being about devastation, but it's also about clearing, it's about survival, right? It made such a difference when we humans discovered fire and were able to stay warm and cook food, right? Like fire has so many benefits. And I don't know about you, it brings about memories of dancing around the fire as a child. Maybe she's going to have these darker parts for her arms and hands over here. So think about your relationship to power, right? Fire is often a symbol of power. How do you express or own your creative power in healthy and nurturing ways? Power also can get a bad rap, but it's necessary for our thriving. Looks like she has big oven mitts on. I love all these swirly bits here. And when I look at that circle of women, that idea of, just dancing freely without worry or concern or self-judgment, but just being in that really beautiful, maybe this is going to be some crazy, fiery hair up here, although it could be the face. It's hard to see, but there is a face in there. I just finished reading this absolutely fantastic book. Oh, maybe this is going to be her face here, called How to Be Enough. And talking about, all the ways that we stop ourselves. It's the perfect book for perfectionists and people that are overly self-critical. I like the image on the backside of this too. And she talks about how, our fear of looking bad or being judged by others stops us from having fun, right? Or letting go and relaxing. Right? I think she needs some little boots. So she is very, very fiery energy for sure. That face is too small. So I want to remember that my fire and my creative power are good things, that they're healing and nurturing things, that they don't have to subsume me or anyone else. So this beautiful, compassionate smile feels like appropriate. This is one of the faces I shared earlier this month in your Paper Doll Chronicles emails. So it feels like we have a good base down on this one. And it feels like this is like the undercurrent of what's happening inside of her, but she doesn't feel finished. I'm also almost thinking that she needs some flowy fabric or some tulle. I want to be able to still see what's underneath. And like the other one, there's something about, connecting to that energy of the fire that feels important, just like connecting to the energy of love and compassion. Something about these feathers that feel really fun. More cats. I keep being drawn to black cats, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this little kitty out. It seems to want to be part of the story. Little kitty familiar here showing up. And it feels like it needs some of this other color to kind of like not calm the fire down, but to just kind of, I don't know, something here that there wants to be more than just the red of the flames. Although I do love this little piece of this cauldron here. I think it was just from a creative perspective, it needed a little balance, right? It needed something to kind of pull the eye out and bring things back together. So maybe she wants to have some green boots. So both of these two dolls today feel very different, very potent. They are two that I will definitely make time to really sit with and do some journaling with, really look at, and I'm going to go and grab those prompts for this week and see how the prompts help me to understand what's showing up here in these dolls for me. What is it about my own gratitude for mystery that is being sparked and inspired? Trying to see if I can keep those all as one piece, but we'll see. Ah, close enough. She has some green boots, and this is going to be somehow her part of her dress. Hola Blanca, how are you? Fun to see you here today. Glad to have you visiting. I'm glad you're doing well. How's the grandbaby? Or the little one, because I think you have more than one. All right, I love this. Feels like that fire is being transmuted and flowing up and out from her so that she's sharing that creative energy, not holding on to it or feeling consumed by it. I love working this way with intuitive collage. As most of you know, this isn't about making something that is aesthetically beautiful, but instead making something that is deeply meaningful as we complete our month of gratitude goddesses. And that little kitty is there to show his support. Okay, that little bit of green definitely helped. Still feeling like she needs some texture or something kind of flowy. Let me see what I have over here. Oh, look, here we have some lace. I was playing with the jelly plate the other day and playing with, and I think this was paint and maybe some acrylic inks. Oh, here's the more of those colors. That one's not long enough unless I do two layers. Yeah, it's what she needed, texture. Something about the texture and the dancing, right? When we looked at this six of fire, there's lots of movement and like movement in the fire, movement of the dancers and the drummers. And so this needed some of that flowy energy. All right. And yes, I'm going to cover up what's underneath, but I know that it's there, right? That is the magic of this kind of work, is just being willing to let go. No one needs to see those layers. I know that they're there. So maybe she needs some multiple layers. Or she feels more flowy and like she is ready for the dance. Just cut a little bit of this off so we don't have to wrap so much around. Might trim even a little more of that off to fit. And then let's see, do we want some of this as well? Yeah, it feels like lots of layers. It feels like she wants to be lots of layers, and it also feels like maybe some of this wants to come up here as well instead of this. It's like she's being crowned queen of the fire. Well, that feels fun. All right, so I am going to trim off a little more of these bottom parts. But just as I would with a paper doll, I'm kind of gonna leave the tabs of fabric at the top so I can just wrap that around easily and either glue stick it or staple it. Putting the acrylic paint on to the lace made it a little bit stiffer, which actually makes it perfect for using in collage, so it's not quite so flimsy. And all those little pieces will get saved for some other project. Thank you, Blanca. Or maybe, I don't know. I kind of like her how she is too. So as with traditional paper dolls, maybe her skirt needs to be removable so that she can remember to return to center and to her core, right? That sometimes it's easy to cover up those external beliefs, clothes, stories, and hide our authentic selves, right? Behind maybe a shawl of lace. Maybe that's what she needs. Yeah. Because it feels like she needs to stay connected to this inner fire. So she could just have a shawl of lace. Now she feels like a Spanish lady with her shawl of lace. Okay, I'm not sure. So I'm going to let it rest for now. So this is where when you get stuck to remind yourself to take a break, walk away, because she's pretty stinking cute the way she is right now and representing that energy of creative fire. So I don't need to keep adding to her, but she might need some different outfits to put on at one time or another. But for right now, I think she's fine. Let me grab my watercolor that we painted up earlier. So still a little damp. So this was our Guardian of Water. This was our card that was all about compassion, love, healing energy for self, for the world, for the environment, for others. And this was the one that ended up being this fun, happy accident when I was cutting out the doll, and she is going to live in this beautiful energy of water here. And I think this is the one out of all the ones that I've made so far that is going to linger on my desk for a while. And I love the two of them together because we have this fire and water energy. So we have the cooling, healing, compassionate flow of water and the magic and energy of creative fire. So they're fun together. This feels like that opening of the heart space, of the heart chakra, right? That opening of the center of compassion and letting that flow up and over and out. And I think why I needed this little bit of red in here was it felt like this, almost like that little bit of fire and little bit of color contrast. Growing up and out, we have the beautiful flow of water. So it feels like allowing that compassionate self to grow and express itself. So, two things that ended up being completely different and unexpected today, inspired by tarot cards from the Gaian Tarot. I love, love, love this deck. This is the Fool card, I think, or maybe the Hanging card. Um, Her artwork is beautiful. The stories and the meanings of the cards are beautiful. Where's our little guardian of Six of Fire here? So just a fun, different way to connect to our gratitude for mystery, both through the creative process, through the inspiration of the oracle cards. And as I said, now I look forward to going back to our list of journal prompts and connecting even more to these figures that have shown up right here to be my guides and supporters on the path today. Thank you, Blanca. Thanks everyone for joining me today. Thanks for joining me live. Thanks for catching the replay. And I'd love to see the ways that you let tarot and oracle cards influence your paper doll making this week. Have a good one. Wishing all of you a very happy holiday next week. And I will see you guys all in December for our last project with our year of paper dolls. Have a good one, everybody. Bye bye. That just, those cards are so glary.